Hey there, welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and in this week's vlog I'm going to show you the interview that I did with Josh Gabriel and Dave Dresden, aka Gabriel and Dresden, aka Motorcycle, about their track As the Rush Comes. As the Rush Comes is a vocal trance track that came out 15 years ago. They did a track together with singer-songwriter Jess Breeden, and during the Amsterdam dance event in October 2018 I sat down with Josh and Dave to talk with them about this track. Enjoy! Motorcycle is a project from Josh Gabriel and Dave Dresden together with singer-songwriter Jess Breeden. In the year 2003 they released their track As the Rush Comes, which got a lot of support from many DJs back then. The track peaked at the number 11 position in the UK charts, plus in many other European countries the track was a big success as well. In 2004 it even became a number 1 in Billboard's Hot Dance Airplay chart. Because of the 15th anniversary of As the Rush Comes, I thought it was a good idea to meet up with Josh and Dave to ask them how the track was born and more. So, in October 2018, during the Amsterdam dance event, I sat down with the guys on a rooftop in the city of Amsterdam to talk with them about As the Rush Comes. So, how long have you guys been active in the music scene?
I don't even know what that means. I bought my first synthesizer in 1981.
Wow.
But I wasn't active in any music scene.
I first started DJing. I started to learn how to DJ in 1986. So pretty much by 1988 I was DJing full time.
Okay, cool. I heard Pete Tong was the one who said you should work together. How did that go?
You want to explain that one?
Yeah, I was doing some musical scouting for Pete Tong in America. He wanted to have boots on the ground in America for his label and his radio show. And so he asked me if I would do it. And so one Winter Music Conference, I was hanging out and I was talking to Josh about his Mixman project. And then in the middle of it, he just excused me and he excused himself and went and handed out a record, pulled it out of his bag and handed it to a DJ named Leon Alexander. And it was like a beautifully packaged record. So I was like, huh. And I was like, what was that you just gave him? He's like, oh, it's my new record. I came to Winter Music Conference to give it to DJs. And I was like, well, can I have one? I work for Pete Tong, and maybe I could give it to him if I really like it. Josh kind of looked at me like, yeah, sure, you work for Pete Tong. But he did give me one, and lo and behold, Pete loved it, played it on his radio show, licensed it for a compilation. It was like literally a rags to riches story. And so, Josh and I started talking, and, Josh would send me tracks that he was working on, and I'd give him some feedback, and then we kind of joked that someday we should maybe work on music together. And so Pete actually offered me the stems to a New Order song, and he's like, you should do this with Josh Gabriel, because he's really innovative. And I was like, that's a great idea. And I asked Josh if he wanted to do it, and he said, absolutely. And so that's how it began.
Oh, cool. So how and where did you guys meet Jess?
Dave met her at a club in LA.
Yes.
I remember I was living in San Francisco at the time, and I got a call. He's like, hey man, I just met this girl at this club, and she says
I
she's
sounded
really
like
good,
that too.
She says she's a really good singer, and I think she might be. I think we should, check this girl out. And I'm like, well, if you think she's so good, just have her come up this weekend. Let's go see what happens. And that's what happened. She came up for a weekend and we made As the Rush Comes. That was it.
Yep.
So what can you remember from the production process of As the Rush Comes?
Well, it started as a
126.
The lyrics the lyrics were originally inspired by a friend of mine that had a car accident. And
traveling somewhere could be anywhere.
There's a coldness in the air,
but I don't care.
It was about a friend told me a story about how they were driving, and it was but then obviously it changed its meaning as more lyrics developed. But that was where it started from, and obviously it didn't end there. But and then we were messing around with different stuff.
And the cool story about it actually is that we had already recorded 3 or 4 songs. And we were like happy. So we'd actually went down to the studio on the last day that Jess was in San Francisco to try to knock out one more. And that was As the Rush Comes. And so it started out as literally you opened up your notepad on your computer and those words were there. And And then we opened another thing that he had, like a little demo that he had already.
Like a little demo, not much.
It was like,
didn't even have a
8
kick
bars.
in it yet.
It was like 8 bars. But it was something that he had always played me and I loved. So when he pulled it up, I was like, yeah, this is good. And it was based on a nice sample, which we won't talk about.
And the sample never ended up in it. It was just inspired, you know.
And so literally we pulled it up. We got just behind the mic singing those words, and then we literally wrote the rest of it.
I think it was finished in a day or so.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, not the production, but you know,
just the writing.
We had, because she had to leave, so the voice was recorded, and then we had to finish it.
So do you remember what kind of equipment you used on As the Rush Comes?
That was a Rode mic.
Like yours.
Like that one?
Not like that one, but you know, like the Rode tube mic into a Summit. I think it was called, what is it, an L50 or D? I can't remember what the number is, but it's
that was an L50.
L50 tube compressor. They call it a and then Logic.
All Logic.
100%
all
Logic.
the synths were Logic ES1 and ESP.
So who actually came up with the name Motorcycle?
Josh. Because we were kind of going after a more progressive house thing, like more on the Nick Warren tip. And so this was way different than anything we had done before. And Josh had this idea because Jess kind of looked,
just got a tough biker, bluesy New Yorker, and
he said that to me, and I was like, has there never been a band named Motorcycle before? And lo and behold, there wasn't. And I just loved it. I thought it was great. But, as a business decision, we should have been Gabriel Dresden featuring Jess.
Yeah. So you just told me before the interview that it was really difficult to get a track signed. Can you tell a bit more about that?
Well, yeah, it was. We submitted it to the people that we knew, and everybody was like, they didn't get it or didn't want to release it, non-returned emails, whatever. And so our manager pressed a
white label,
500, and then distributed it through the UK network to get it on the Buzz chart. And
Tiesto was the one that actually championed it in the beginning.
Totally. Well, yeah, it was the use. Once it got used on his Nyana compilation, there was a lot more interest in it. But at first, it was like no record label wanted to touch it.
Wow.
The defining moment was there was a show at, what was that place called? NES.
Yeah.
It was a big, 14,000 people. It was a big show. We were DJing, Jess sang live, and I mean there were other people playing. I can't remember who was playing that night, but
it was a gate crasher.
Yeah, and it was the first time Jess had sung live with us for a big audience like that. And I remember I feel like within a week or two, that's when Positiva finally.
Well, no, that was actually right before the release, I think. Wasn't it?
No, that was the thing that got them over the edge of signing it.
Oh, okay.
It was like, oh, okay, this is, because it was an underground record, and nobody really. It wasn't on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but I think when people really started to see what was happening with people in the club, they realized that there was something to it.
We did sign it to Armada first, but only for the Benelux territory. And the story behind that was like one weekend we were not working in San Francisco, and I happened to be in LA, and Armin was playing at the Mayan in LA. And I didn't know him, but I brazenly walked into the DJ booth and handed him a CD that had As the Rush Comes on it only, and my phone number. And I didn't think he was going to listen to it. But the next morning he literally called me and he's like, that CD you gave me last night, I really love it. I want to meet up with you and talk about it. And he told me, I met up with him and he told me that he wanted to sign it. But that was after many, many months of being turned down everywhere.
Yeah, oh wow.
And Tiesto had already had it, but he didn't release it on his compilation yet, so.
Cool. So the track is 15 years old now and it's still being played in clubs and even at radio. Do you have any idea how many copies have been sold?
No.
We've heard numbers like just in Benelux there was 50,000 vinyls sold.
Right, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. But, you know what, that was in that weird period where there was no iTunes store and like
no
Beatport hadn't really been a thing yet. So it was like one of those songs that got downloaded like millions of times for free. But didn't really, see the benefit of
I have no idea.
Digital sales.
Yeah. So, but is it your most successful release as well?
Probably.
Yeah, because it got to number 11 on the UK pop charts, so it was definitely
And even I think it came to number 7 in this country.
Yeah, I think it was in the charts here. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. You recently did As the Rush Comes live with Jess in LA. Are there more plans for like live shows with her?
What we can say is that we definitely like the idea of doing something live. We haven't figured out exactly what we're gonna do. We liked doing that show with Jess. There aren't plans right now, but we're definitely gonna do more stuff that's not just pure DJing.
Okay.
We just don't know exactly what it is yet.
And any more releases like tracks with Jess or?
We're definitely talking to Jess more seriously than we have in a long time. So, but
we all met and hung out again in LA recently,
and it felt good.
We really want to do another motorcycle song. We're ready.
Cool. Good. What is the best memory you guys have from As the Rush Comes?
Wow.
The best memory,
Seeing Tiesto play it one year at like Winter Music Conference and people knowing it and singing it was pretty memorable.
When you said that, the first thing that came to mind was when we were making it, my first son Rowan was still old enough that he had to be in a, what do you call those things, a baby?
Yeah, the baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
And so I remember he'd be sitting here and I'd be working on the computer.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because there were some days that he had daddy duty all day,
Yeah.
so he had to like take care of the baby, and we were working on the song. And
Yeah, my wife at the time had a job, so she would leave and we would be in the studio all day with Rowan.
That's cool.
And so, when he was really, really tiny, it was easy. We just strapped him and, so he was around the music and then...
Can't do that anymore.
and now Rowan's a teenager.
Yeah. Turning
Alright.
16. So.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All right, thank you guys very much for your time and good luck with everything in the future.
Thank you, Twan.
Thank you.
Alright, that was it, this week's vlog. My interview with Gabriel and Dresden about As the Rush Comes, which came out under their project name Motorcycle. Josh and Dave, thank you very much for your time, much appreciated. I hope you all enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below and make sure to subscribe. Once again, thank you all for watching and until next time, bye bye.